Hi, Professor de Young. Can you tell me some more things about John Locke?
Well, I suppose so, young lad.
I was very confused about the idea of mixing in labor to create private property.
Yes. Go on.
Well, what if I were to go over to my friend's house in the middle of the night, and I went into his yard and cut down their oak tree? Would that tree only be mine if I can turn it into a table before they wake up in the morning?
Not exactly. It depends on what they are already using the tree for. But I suppose if they have no practical purpose for it, you could take it. Very good, child. What else?
Well, what if I was out with my father at the grocer's, and I ran into my best friend's mother while shopping in the produce aisle?
Yes, go on.
Well, based on Locke's idea of mixing in labor, if I were to try and steal a kiss from my friend's mother, and I worked very hard, and did steal a little kiss, would she then become my property?
Good God. Don't be absurd, child. That is not what Locke meant. Don't be a smarty.
Sorry, Professor. I didn't mean to be smart.
That is all right. You haven't reached the age of reason, so you are not yet a person. What else would you like to ask?
Well, Locke has some interesting ideas about punishment for crime. He even says that if someone is going to steal something from you, you have no reason to suppose that that man would not also take away your liberty.
Yes, he did say that.
Well, if I were to try and take your glasses from you right now, would you have the right to kill me?
Oh goodness, child, where do you get these ideas? But yes, I would be able to take your life. And I would be doubly justified in that you are committing a crime, and the fact that you have not reached the age of reason, and subsequently are not a person. As it were, I could kill you twice and be perfectly justified.
That makes me somewhat uncomfortable.
Fear not. We no longer live in a state of nature. What else, child?
Let's see. I was confused about Locke's idea of personal identity. His idea of person rests on consciousness and memory.
Very good. What troubles you?
Please forgive me. I would like to talk about your glasses again. What if you caught me trying to nab your glasses in the middle of the night? Wouldn't you have to hesitate before you try to kill me?
Please explain.
Well, what if I was sleepwalking? Wouldn't you have to find out if I'm conscious first before you judge my actions, and proceed to beat me over the head?
Quite right, child. Bravo. I would need to ascertain whether you are awake. I would also need to take your temperature to make sure you didn't have a fever and that you weren't suffering from delirium.
Speaking of delirium, do you know about a high alcohol content beverage called delirium tremens?
Ah, yes. Quite.
Well, what if I drank a serious serving of delirium tremens, and I came for your glasses? What would you be allowed to do to stop me?
Unfortunately for you, I would have to assume that you were using the alcohol as a cover, and that you are in full ownership of your consciousness. By all means, I would first ascertain your temperature and whether you are in a fit of sleep. Once I was confident you were neither sleepwalking nor feverish, I would be confident that you were simply inebriated.
I see. What would you do then?
Well, very simple, child. Since you are threatening my property, and since you are neither a person by age of reason, nor are you not a person by lacking in consciousness, and being fully assured of the threat to my liberty, I would thrust a knife into your heart. Relax, child. It is simply an academic exercise. Anything else you care to ask?
Yes, Professor. One final thing. Locke speaks about several conditions where the government doesn't have to be tolerant of religion.
Yes. What would you like to know?
Well, Locke says the state doesn't have to be tolerant of a sect that affords itself special privileges or exemptions.
Yes.
Well, as you probably know, most of the men who are members of the Mormon Church get their own planets to rule after death. Isn't that a special privilege that can be tolerated?
Not exactly, my young friend. You see, Locke had more precise definitions when he spoke of privileges. The Mormons wouldn't apply.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand. So if owning your own planet is not a special privilege, and we have the right to make all material things our own property by mixing in our labor.
Yes.
Well, Since Mitt Romney may be our next president, don't we have a right to try and visit his planet to try and develop new alternative energy sources?
You've gone too far, child. I think we better end it here.
Thank you, Professor de Young. I know so much more about Jean Locke.
You're welcome, child. Good day.